HPQ, how are you this morning?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, do
I
you?
feel a bit wrecked this morning. As I say to you, it's not from going out or partying, but I have a number of allergies. And I hate taking an allergy tablet because it makes me feel like I've got a hangover in the morning. It absolutely wrecks me. And last night, I couldn't sleep, so I had to. I was forced to. I was upset with myself, but I wake up like I've been 10 rounds with Mike Tyson or drank 10 bottles of wine, which isn't the case. I fell asleep on the couch very early, and I still feel like I can deal with another 10 hours sleep. But hey, that's enough of HPQ's worries and woes. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone in the mixed cloud. Lady B, you lucky girl. You're off to Morocco in October. I'm off
Wow,
to Ghana.
yeah.
So I don't feel too jealous. And good morning, Wolf Michael Fister. Long time, sir. How are you? Good morning, Sharky DJ, and everyone else on Sharky DJ's Mixcloud, of which I'll come into in a second. So, what have I missed this morning? Have I missed anything exciting? What have we spoken about? What have I missed?
I was just talking about holidays and, where people are going and the weather. There's a hurricane out there that we're supposed to be getting the tail end of Hurricane Ernesto, they've called this one. It's supposed to be wreaking havoc on London town, rain and all that. What else have we been talking about? And music.
And the Yellow Party.
And the Yellow Party, yes, and what happened to me at the Yellow Party.
Oh my God. So I think everyone's seen most of it on Facebook now, right? It's the video of Sharky. So Sharky is was playing at the Yellow Party as well. And we've all come along and we're so excited. We booked a room and everything. We got down there early, settled in, walked around the place, and then Sharky comes in later and says, I'm just going to lie down for an hour. Sure. Around about 10 past 11 in the evening, Sharky wakes up, says, I'm going to the party. I'm like, babe, it's done now.
Oh, dear. Couldn't believe it. You couldn't make it up if you tried, could you?
No, couldn't. You missed the whole lot. Imagine that. You missed the whole party.
I
Just
know, and I saw
went
the
to
videos
sleep.
and it looked so good.
It was. But you missed it. Never mind.
That won't happen next year.
But listen, good morning to everyone. It's good to be back. I'm sure Sharky's told you about the next couple of weeks, of which it's a bit crazy. August is always a crazy month, right? It's a holiday month. So next week, Monday, of course, it's the bank holiday weekend coming up. Notting Hill Carnival's on for the first time in 4 years. I am going to attend Notting Hill Carnival and play in costume. I can't wait. I'm playing with the Deridim Tribe. Got my costume ready, going to pick it up this week. And Bank Holiday Monday will be down at the Notting Hill Carnival. And, of course, Tuesday we will be recovering. So there's going to be no shows on at all next week. But the week after, Sharky then will be away. On the Monday, we will have Pablo, myself. I'm hoping that Lady B will come in as well. Next week, Monday, there's the three of us. On Tuesday, it's going to be myself and Delight. And the following next week, Tuesday, it'll be myself and Delight. And that following Monday, it's going to be a guest DJ host coming in to sit with me. So that's it for the next 2 weeks. Make sure you're well aware of the schedule. No breakfast flight show on next week whatsoever. There's no shows Monday and Tuesday, and we'll be back the following week. Now, there's lots that's been going on in the news, but before we get there, I want to do my little film review, right? Because, number one, Sharky is obsessed with this latest show. I'm up to episode 3. I must say I'm not hooked yet, but I'm interested. All right? I'm not disinterested. I'm interested. So I'm going to keep on watching. And this is, tell him about Kin, because, you're watching it, you can sell it without giving away all the details, Sharky.
Well, I was watching Kin, so it was recommended to me, saying, watch this, it's a really good movie. And I was like you, the first couple of episodes, I was thinking, okay, well, and I messaged my friend back and said, it doesn't seem very, I said, keep watching. I think by the third or fourth, by the end of the third episode, I was like, and I started watching the fourth one. Then I was hooked. And it's all about, I won't give the story, I'll give it the storyline, but I won't, give out what's happening. It's about a gangster family in Ireland.
They're Irish.
And they are Irish, yeah. And basically it's to protect their drug industry, and they deal with all different people trying to get in, and everything is the family, and everything is about the family. And it doesn't matter how loyal you are to the family and what you've done to save. They are so ruthless to anybody on the outside. But there's somebody that was on the inside that came out and caused real havoc within the family. And I won't go on any more than that, but you just need to watch Kin. I'll tell you what, I stayed up watching it till late last night, and I caught the last episode of series 2, and I was like, wow. It was a different outcome to what I expected or what I thought was going to happen, but yeah, watch Kin, definitely. If you like gangster movies and, it's all drugs, there's a lot of shooting and stuff like that, it's just I don't like movies where, you see people chasing each other and it's just straight to the point, that kind of thing. If you've done something, they just do it like how it is, how they would do it real. Just come here, shoot you and disappear and that's it. So it's no long thing, So yeah, good movie.
Well, Lady B is saying that she loved Kin. Miss Kelzer said she loved Kin. So, maybe it's something I'm going to have to get myself and my teeth into to watch. Some of those long train journeys home. I'm going to download some of those videos. The other series that I keep hearing about it all over the internet, is Dexter. So I've started to, I haven't watched it yet, but that's going to be my next series that I'm going to watch, is Dexter. He's a police officer by day, killer by night. I think he kills all the bad people.
Oh, I don't know about. I'll have to get into that one as well. But there is a series that I am going to start off on today, which has been highly recommended, and I was told it's definitely one that will keep me locked. So I'm going to be watching that, and then I will report on that. I'll tell you about it, and you can report on that in the next week or so.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one other film that I watched years ago, and I'm going to actually rewatch it, but it's a massive tearjerker. It really is. You cry. 2 films that have made me cry my eyes out. The Imitation of Life. My mum first introduced that film to me. The Imitation of Life. I think they should remake that film. Up-to-date remake of Imitation of Life. Really yeah, that film is fantastic. Can I get some reactions there for those that have seen Imitation of Life? That is one classic movie that everyone in their lifetime should have seen. Now, the other tearjerker is The Notebook. And the lady that starred in The Notebook as the older version of herself has died recently, which is what prompted me to talk about this film. And she was absolutely fantastic in the film. I don't want to give away what she went through and everything, otherwise it's going to give away the film if you've never watched The Notebook. But if you do love a tearjerker, oh my gosh, The Notebook had me bawling. It really did.
Is it?
So yeah, fantastic film. One of the best movies I've watched in a long time.
Oh, I'll have to get myself around that one and have a look at that as well.
Yeah, please do. It's a fantastic film. Now, the other thing that I've been watching on the internet is Pop the Balloon, because I first featured about Pop the Balloon a number of months ago on the Breakfast Flight Show, which has prompted you watching it, and you've now got into Pop the Balloon and now watch it all the time. So I was watching it the other day again. I was watching the American version. They're too nice. They're not evil to each other at all. The Jamaicans, the Africans, they go for the jugular. You're too short. Your clothes are not worth enough, all sorts of things they come out with. But Americans, they're just nice. Yeah. Anyway, so one guy's on there, and I had to crack up, and he's giving off his resume about what he's got. He's like, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a property investor. I own my own record label, and I currently am a server at a restaurant.
I didn't get that one.
Well, he's got all these businesses. He's a serial entrepreneur, so he's got his own businesses. He's a property investor, which alludes to the fact that he's got a portfolio of properties on his books. He owns a record label, of which I'm assuming he may have some artists. But he's a server at a restaurant, meaning he's a waiter, my darling, at a restaurant. So you've got all these entities, but you're a server at a restaurant? So your serial entrepreneurism isn't working, I could say. Definitely not. And your record label isn't producing any music. All these good things about you, and you're serving at a restaurant. Come on. Make them work for you if you're going to be saying all of these things. It's an impressive resume. And right at the end, I'm just a waiter. Come on.
What makes me
Any,
laugh sometimes with a pop the balloon is when as soon as they walk out, they pop the balloon, then the guy starts talking, and it's like, their first impressions are like, I don't like this guy, and they're like, after they speak to him, he's like, can I have my balloon back?
and in the American ones, what I've noticed is that most of the contestants that come out saying you've got to be a person of God, otherwise I don't want to know. You've got to
Yeah.
go to church. You've got to. Yeah, it's big over there. No, I don't go to church. Sorry. Does that make me not any more better than the next person if I'm not a man of God? I might be a servant of God in my own time.
I,
But
I like asking, when they say, what's your deal breakers? And normally said, if you've got kids and like, well, no kids, what's your deal breakers?
what's my deal breaker?
Yeah, in a relationship, what's your deal breakers?
Oh, that's a good
Or a
point.
deal
I haven't really
breaker?
thought about bad shoes, Sharky.
Don't
Bad
ask me,
shoes.
because I won't reveal it because my deal
Bad
breaker got
shoes.
broken. But what is your bad shoes? Is your deal breaker? If you see someone with bad shoes, I'd like to,
My
ask
deal breaker. My deal breaker is, and at this particular age as well. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. I'm at this particular age. But my deal breaker is if you've got nothing to bring to the table, I'm not entering into a relationship. Meaning, if you live at home with your mum, if you've got no car, if you've got no assets or anything, it's a deal breaker. I'm not propping
Yeah,
you up in later life. Sorry.
absolutely.
I've worked too long to be getting somebody into my home that has no job, no home, no car, no savings. Nah, see you later.
Yeah,
Love costs. It says love don't cost a thing. It does. It
yeah.
does. Sorry.
Yeah, same thing with me now. That's a deal breaker. If you
Yeah.
don't have anything, and you've got like 5 kids or 4 kids, and I can't see nothing behind you, then I'm not going there. If I do go there, it'll be just for fun, but there's gonna be nothing serious. You're not gonna get me down that aisle, darling. You're not gonna get to me to come and live with you. Oh, no, 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 no.
No. And another deal breaker is if you're like my age and got young kids. No, I'm done with young kids. I'm only looking after young kids as a foster carer. I am not looking
All
after somebody else's
grandchildren,
kids
all
or
grandchildren.
dealing. No, I love grandchildren. If you got the more grandchildren you have, the more enter into my home. Definitely, I
Yeah,
love grandchildren, but not kids because I can't deal with baby mothers at this age. It's just too much. You dealt with that in your 20s and 30s. The
yeah.
crazy women.
So I'd like
No,
to ask the chat room, if you're in a
five
relationship or
2 year
you're
old.
entering a relationship, what are your deal breakers for the relationship? If a guy says boom or is his shoe lean up, what's your deal breakers where you think absolutely nope, you are not getting a chance with me?
Lady B says bad breath. Nothing
Oh
to show for
God,
your life, and bad breath. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I think as we get older, halitosis is bad breath, right? Halitosis is something that happens a lot in older people. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because our teeth are more spaced out and we're not flossing enough for all that debris to be kept up in our mouth, and that's what produces a lot of the bad breath. By the way, is not cleaning, not having proper oral care. So I suggest those go visit the dentist, get your teeth cleaned often, and get rid of that halitosis. Yeah, I don't want to kiss a bad breath. I don't want
yeah.
no. When they talk to you, it's like it's a cloud of
Yeah, I mean,
awfulness.
sometimes, maybe someone could have a medical condition that they can't help it, even if they try. But me, I think if I was in that position,
You
I'd be
stay with that
walking
medical condition
around.
star.
I'd be walking around with like mouthwash, and I'd be like, every time I go out, before I talk to someone, I definitely would, if I knew to myself there was a problem there, I would definitely have to try and do something about it.
But some people don't know they've got a problem. It's like people that come out that smell. Bad smells, deodorant problems, armpit problems is a complete no-no for me as well. If you can't clean yourself, there's a big problem. Or your clothes smell. And for
Do
men, it could be your weave smells.
Oh yes, I was just about to say that. I was going to say, that's a deal breaker. There's nothing worse than you're walking past a woman and you smell that the weave really strong. I mean, like, come on, ladies, you can take that weave off and put it in the washing machine or whatever it is you do.
In the
Hang it
washing
out on the
machine.
line, hang it out on the line, just like you wash your hair. But it just tells me, if you're, for me, another deal breaker. Definitely for me is if I go in to see a woman and her kitchen is nasty. I mean,
Oh,
pots and grease all over the pots and the cookers. I can't listen. I mean, I don't mind untidy. There's untidy, which is fine, but nasty. Imagine like someone cooking for you. It happened to me one time, and many years ago, I remember going to this lady's house, and I was quite interested in her, and went to her house, and she offered me dinner. And I walked in the kitchen. I said, "Oh, can I have a glass of water?" And she kind of took this glass out and rinsed it and just gave it to me. That water's still there, right? Then she came out with the dinner, and I pretended I was sick to the point where I was vomiting. Said, "Oh, sick, headache and everything." Ended up lying down, waiting for them to kick me out of the house because they didn't just want to leave. And then I didn't end up eating anything. That's a deal breaker.
look, you're
I was
good.
younger at that time. Now
You're
I'd be
good.
more
I'm gonna
straightforward.
go and lie down. When someone's house is nasty,
It was
there's no
someone I
lying
talked
down.
to.
I'm gone. I'm
No,
gone.
the
I
sitting
don't
room.
care.
No, the sitting room was fine. The sitting room fine. It's the kitchen. I was
Listen,
not
if the
eating out of
kitchen's
that
that
kitchen.
bad,
I'm
I have
telling
no
ya.
idea what the rest of the house is like. She's probably swept the dust under the chair. Probably if you lifted up one of them cushions, you'll probably see a plethora of insects running. No, 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 no.
Lady
No.
B says, "Take your medical condition and dust." Gosh,
Yeah.
come on. We have to be empathetic sometimes. I think.
Not to the detriment of my health or my well-being. No.
Talking
But
about the
listen,
bad breath.
let's play a track and we'll come back and we'll talk about these dates and also first date red flags. That's an interesting one.
First date red flag. HPQ. Talking about deal breakers.
Yes, and good morning, Davy J. Davy J, can you get in contact with me? Can you send me a private message somehow? I need to get your number. I need to contact you for Black History Month. I want the Friday Frolics team on for our 48-hour
I think I have
charity
David.
event.
I think I've got his number here. Hold on, I'm sure I've got his
But
number
we'll talk
here.
about that in a second. Now, David J turned round and said, gosh, he said, so much to comment on. First thing though, bad breath, hell no. Man or woman, definitely. Imitation of Life, 100% amazing film. Yes, it was indeed. Definitely no relationship with a whole heap of baggage and drama. Nope. Come in and crash my world. It's so true. I cook, clean, and there's nothing I can't do for myself, so I expect the same. Yeah, at this age, we're done training, trialing, testing, eggshell walking. We are in our prime of life, and I expect to just stay that way, not come down a level because some man's got some baggage and some stuff that he hasn't dealt with that he expects me to deal with, and vice versa, by the way, not just me. Lady B says, first date red flags. When a man tells you he's looking for a woman who has finished making all her mistakes. That's so true.
Oh
so
dear.
true. Delight says, a deal breaker for me is someone who respects and loves. Hold on. Gosh, it's Mixcloud. It's so rubbish on the phone anymore.
It is.
A deal breaker for me is someone who respects and loves his mother the way I know I'll be treated with respect. Someone who can love me for me and understand me inside out. Someone who has the same values and interests as myself. Yes, sorry, David J was just saying good morning. Yeah, it's so true that as we come to this beautiful grand old centenary years, getting into bicentenary years, we're getting into like the 50s. We just want an easy life. We don't want trials and tribulations and baby mothers and children and no cash people hanging off our coattails.
No cash people.
Yeah, I don't want
No,
no
no,
cash
no.
man. I'm sorry, I don't want a no cash man come and I'm cooking and buying and no. Another turn off is a man who can't dress, man who can't put his clothes together, who can't like coordinate.
It's funny, won't say, but was looking at a yellow party, someone who had an outfit looked quite decent. We was looking at
We
this
zoomed
picture,
in, you know when you
and we
zoom in on
zoomed
the
this
picture.
and the pleats on the trousers was not ironed and all this, and I was like, the pleats ain't even right, and it was like stepping back into like the
It was like the
80s.
old school American. You know, the Americans wore baggy trousers and then they had pleats at the top, and it was like straight leg from the top to the bottom. It's the same width and length, you know. But we shouldn't laugh at other people's clothes. Could have paid a lot of money for that. Could have cost
Laughing
much
at the
more than what
clothes, I
we
was
were
just
wearing.
like saying, if you're gonna wear it, like get the ironing straight. Come on, people zoom up
Oh,
on
the
your
pleat in the trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always got to get that straight, haven't you?
People are like zooming. This, social media is so terrible these days. Yeah, I do zoom up. I'm a zoomer, man. Yeah, like let me zoom up.
and see what's going on with their faces and stuff. But red flags. What else is a red flag for me? Now, we saw something on the internet the other day and you responded, which was quite funny, which prompted me to bring this up on the Breakfast Flight show. So, and one of the things one person spoke about, actually, that I read about before we get onto that one, is some woman said she was on a first date, went back to his house and everything, and he proceeded to go to the toilet with the door open. Now, whether he was doing a number one or number two, I don't know. Number one, even then, it's like, I don't want to hear it going. It's a first date. At least let me like you before I got to get to know all the other parts. If he's doing a number two with the door open, then that's a definite red. I don't know. Is it a red flag? Is it a red flag, everybody? If you go on a first date and you go back to someone's house and they go to the toilet, or they come back to your house even, and they go toilet with the door open, is that a red flag?
Well, depends on because I mean the thing about it is I know if a woman went and sat down and I can't speak for all men, but I would imagine if a woman kind of sort of sat on the toilet and was talking to a man, he'd be like, he might not like the smell, but he'd be like, you know what? It might be different for women. I don't know.
Did you say he might like the smell?
I said he might not like the smell.
Oh, I was going to
say. May not.
There's some things I don't know, babe.
No. May not like it. May not like it. However, the fact that, he can look and see, being a man and all that, men think kind of different. I don't know. Some guys might say no. I don't know. It wouldn't be a problem to me if I like someone. I'd be like, well, I like her anyway. I'll see what I go on, But maybe it might be a yellow flag to say, well, let's see what goes on here.
So you're on a first date and she's going to the toilet with the door open and she wheezes and then she farts loudly as well and you hear all that.
I would laugh. I would laugh. I'd say, you were right in there, Did you deliberately leave that toilet door open? I'm, you know what? I'm game for a laugh, you know me. So things like that don't bother me really.
Oh my god!
Bother some people, but it doesn't bother me. That's I don't even know. Let me just keep quiet.
Hold on. Lady B says yes if you go to the toilet with the door open and a number two. Where are the manners? So true. David J says, and what if there's no toilet paper? Delight says first date no chat, but start as you mean to go on in it.
Exactly.
Spice says shut the door. Shut the door.
Maybe I'd go and close the door for and say, listen, you want to close the door if you or something. I don't know. But it wouldn't be. I don't look at that as a red flag. It's not a personality issue. That's like maybe a habit or something. Maybe they just want you to feel comfortable or something. I don't know.
Skid marks for me in the toilet is a red flag and a no-no. I don't want to go to no one's house for the first, second, or even the third time. To be quite honest with you, it's going to take me a while for those kind of things to bed in, right? But I don't want to see no. I don't want to see no skid marks in the toilet, no splashes, no splashbacks, no residue. I don't want to see nothing in that
what if
toilet.
He kind of opened up his, his clothes basket was opened up and you saw the underwear and the skid marks on the underwear?
Do you know
Is that
what?
red flag?
Do you know what? I understand it happens. All right. If it's thrown down in the middle of the floor that I'm walking in and seeing that, no, I don't want to see that. That's not what I want to see when I walk into a bathroom. Is it a red flag? I don't know. If it's on all his underpants, yes, because it should turn to wipe your underneath properly. That means he's not wiping himself down properly, and it needs a little bit more training from his mum, not from me. But skid marks in the toilet, going toilet with the door open first time round. I don't want to hear what's coming out of your stomach, what you had last night. No. Thank you. I'll leave that alone. No, thank you. Now, the other thing that we spoke about as well that was on Facebook is, now, whether this is first date or not, but would you allow someone to wee in the shower when you're in there? I mean, you're having a shower anyway. You're showering with your man, and he decides to wee. Maybe a few drops might go in. Is it a red flag? Is it acceptable?
Well, you both are having a shower together for the first time.
You both are having a shower together, and he wheezes in the shower, or even on you in the shower.
That don't bother me. Nah,
we know you've put that all over Facebook. Does it bother anybody? Is weeing in the shower together acceptable? Is it acceptable in this day and age? Or for me, that's not a red flag at all. You're in the shower, you're coming off. If you wheeze on you afterwards,
we got to be careful what we talk about. Remember the time in the morning, his kids still on holiday, so
But it's nothing.
Yeah, but I know, but it's
nothing
still,
unacceptable. But anyway, yes.
But still.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, play a track, Sharky.
Okay. Yeah. Take you back in time with some HPQ.
I'm still on mute there. I'm still on mute. Now, there was so much chat coming in here now. Spice Nice says, don't leave stuff in my toilet. That would make me vex. I won't use the word that you use there. Lady B says, please, the toilet brush, clean up, man. And MB David Jones says, dirty somebody. Lady B says, if you have skid marks, you have to wash yourself, man. Deal breaker. Delight says, no pee in the shower at any time. Spice Nice says, that don't bother me. Spice Nice is on the same ranks as Sharky DJ there, sorry. David J says, getting deep. Delight says, tune. And he says, some people need church right about now. Maybe we do. Maybe we need that. And D Brown says, a man peeing on his date could be marking his territory. That is so true. It could be.
Very true. Yep. Yep. People do different things to mark their territory, don't they?
We were talking about how humans were very similar to mammals yesterday. I think it was Sharky. There's some similarities there. But let's the other thing I want to speak about is getting on to some news now. Now, the Olympics is over. Oh, it's a shame. I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to, but I did kind of tune into it a lot more. Now, we spoke about Reagan last week.
Okay, yes.
The breakdancer. And it's not ending there. I mean, this girl's getting vilified on social media. And you know what?
She is, isn't she?
In some ways, I feel sorry for her. And every time I watch that video of her breakdancing, I don't. Because somebody told her that what she was doing was good. Maybe it was her husband, Samuel Free. And I've watched a video of him breakdancing. And he's just as bad, if not worse. If you go onto Twitter, people have unearthed footage. They said, no wonder she's dancing like this. This is her husband. He is worse than what she is. Now, somehow somebody thought she was good. Somehow she got into the competitions, the pre-competitions to get into the Olympics, and the judges marked her. And I don't know if there was some backhanders going on, but something right. I don't care. Out of all those breakers in the whole of Australia and everything, and in fact, Oceania, not even just Australia, it's Oceania. All right, so there's a few more countries littered in there as well. And she won.
But
I don't understand.
But you know what? Well, you got to ask yourself, who are these judges of breakdancing? You know, how did they pick the judges and where did they come from? That'd be very interesting. You know, are they breakdancers themselves? Are they American breakdancers? Because obviously that's where it's all started, you know. So where
I want to see footage of the actual competition with all the contestants that were in it. And Reagan.
It'd be very interesting because if America entered that competition and she beat the Americans, you know, and there's some breakdancers out there that can really do some, you know, some good.
Well, the
moves,
Americans wouldn't have been able to enter into the Oceania competition because that was to do with just Australia and the surrounding islands, and that was.
I'm talking about the Olympics. The Olympics, I mean.
Oh, well, well, Australians didn't beat it. She got 0 on all rounds, so she definitely didn't beat the Americans, let alone anybody else. That's
because I don't know.
There are good breakers in every country, not just the Americans. And they may have started it off, but there are good breakers everywhere. The Asians, the Chinese and everything, and even the Germans. There's good British ones. They're all over. But Reagan, no. She wasn't a breaker. And there's been so many memes now. There are people that have copied the whole dance routine, put music against it, and just to show you how stupid the moves were. I don't believe that was an Olympic effort. She says she tried her best. I saw the after interview that she gave. She said she tried her best, and I thought, well, if that's your best, you shouldn't have been on the stage. As far as I'm concerned, it was a mockery of the sport. I think she made out of it. That didn't even feel like she got A for effort in there, and there's no A in effort. Now, Delight says there's no breakdancing in the 2028 Olympics thanks to her, and I was going to apply. Listen, Delight, you would have got more points than my girl there. I know you can break. I know there's a little B girl, little fly girl behind Delight. Now, MBE David J says, what's next? Scratch and beatbox never were a sport, but they try and regulate these things. Everything crash. Yeah, I know. I think that the Olympics should have different sporting activities in it, though. It shouldn't just be down to athleticism and gymnastics and biking. BMX is in there. When did BMXing become an Olympic sport? So why not? Why not breakdancing? I think beatboxing would be good. There's some great beatboxers. I was watching one last night, and the whole group. I'm definitely not using that mic after. Definitely not use. Imagine using
My
a mic after
microphone.
someone breakboxing. Listen,
Nobody
I'd have
uses
to
my
bring my
mic.
own. All the spittle on that, collecting, and then moving on to the next. No. And talking about collecting spittle and things that are not right. Listen, we've got to be careful of where we buy our food. I'm always talking about food. Latest news to come out about buying frozen chicken from Asda's, Lidl's. What was the other one? Asda, Lidl's, and Iceland. Frozen chicken. Apparently, they've been sourced from a supplier called Superjob, which laces their chicken with antibiotics. And it's not good for your people. And they're wondering why the number of children with with neurodiversity. Sorry, I had to think of the new word. I'm not used to all these new words, you know. With new neurodiversity issues, there's been a huge spike. I was listening to LBC the other day. And children claiming for this, even adults as well. Now, it's leading me to believe, is it because our children were undiagnosed before and now there's a big emphasis or shift on mental health that we're looking at these things a little bit more seriously? Or is it our food? Is it what we're eating? Is it what some of these suppliers are lacing in our foods? Now, all I know is that my allergies are going through the roof. And I don't know if I've been using the same products, but you know sometimes they change the ingredients in products. Is there something in E45 that's changing the composition of my skin and making me break out? Or the foods that I'm eating, where it's been sourced from or what's in it? You know, you really do have to start thinking about where you eat, where you get your foods from. And I'm tired of eating chicken that's not chicken. This plastic chicken that we buy. Honestly, Sharky.
Isn't that right, HPQ?
Back to back Tuesday was the one that we used to be on a
Oh,
Tuesday.
yes.
It's when
Back
Martin
to-
stopped and I kind of stepped in and it
Yeah,
kind of ended up being the breakfast flight show.
Back-to-back Tuesdays.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was. And good morning, Martin Winter. Yes, I'm hoping that when I do the charity day that he'll come on and do a selection. He's always avoidance. That's Mr. Martin Winter. But good morning to you, sir. Good to see you over the weekend. In yellow, it was lovely. And Spice Nice says, I think it's the food and what they're spraying in the air. As things were not like that in the 80s and 90s, they're making people sick. Maybe it's because it was undiagnosed in the 80s and 90s. Remember that when we used to go to school, we used to be dunce or behind and used to go to the special classes because you couldn't learn properly. You know, dyslexia wasn't recognised back then, especially when my brother was diagnosed with dyslexia years later. But at school, they just thought that he was stupid and dunce and put in the behind class, right, or sit in the back of the class.
Do you remember they used to have remedial classes? Was it remedial classes, isn't it?
Remedial classes, yeah. They had all sorts of things. What was that special place you used to go to? I can't remember what that's called. But yeah, I think nowadays they've got the skills to be able to diagnose children earlier on, but are we over-diagnosing our children? I don't know. It seems like every child has got some sort of mental health issue. The surge in numbers is quite unbelievable. And the fact is that the councils do not have the money to deal with having these kids being sent to special schools or having special measures for them. Listening to a show, I'm listening to a mother pulling her hair out in regards to all the care she used to get. She's got 3 autistic children. One of them is severely autistic. The second one is autistic, and the third one is definitely on the spectrum, but she can't get any help with her kids anymore, and that must be hard work. And I don't know if any of you guys have dealt with autistic children, the ones that just want to scream and shout, and you know, if something is moved wrong, they absolutely lose themselves, or if the place is unfamiliar, and we look at those as though they're bad breed children, but sometimes they are an autistic child that can't cope with just everyday things. And it's hard for parents, I think, now with children and actually getting help that you actually need. I think those days of have gone. You know, so. But it's like, what do you do? How much money does each council have? Is it down to the government's not giving the councils enough money to deal with this? I don't know. But there's a big issue with our schools, let alone dealing with dyslexic, neurodiverse children in our schools. It's a whole brand new subject that actually needs to be spoken about. Yes, it is. Delight said, I think talking to Spice Nice says, Delight, that's sad. Okay, Delight says, my next door neighbour has 4 children, 3 with autism, and she's forever crying. I could imagine. I knew one girl that I used to go to college with, and 2 of her kids, one of them had ADHD, and I mean severe ADHD. The child did not sit still and was forever moving and checking stuff. And, if it's not controlled and if you don't have enough support behind you, it becomes really difficult. So I feel for your neighbour, Delight. I really do. Let's just hope that people can step in and give them the help that they actually need. But our schools are suffering. All I know is that our children are suffering. Children's services and things for them, there is nothing there. There really is. And it's the way of the world right now. Limited
It looks
funds
like
for
it.
things.
Absolutely looks like it.
It does. But now let's go into a bit of news now. Now, we all like technology, don't we? I love technology. I embrace technology at its fullest. And we got into the world of self-service checkouts. They've kind of hit the phenomenon now. They come into supermarkets, pound shops, everything, where you just go to self-serve, you put your bag on the counter, it knows the weight of your bag, and it's expecting that weight to be transferred onto the other side. Especially if you've scanned something, it expects to be put down on the other side there as well. And they've become the bane of some people's lives. Me, I find them easy, apart from the fact they don't recognise, like if you're buying a pack of tissues and you put it down, it's the, please put the item in the checkout area. It doesn't recognise it. So you have to be sitting there banging it on the side to make it recognise you've got some sort of weight in your hand, or get the cashier over. And you always got one cashier going from one till to another. Now, I do like the idea of self-serve, especially Amazon's. Have you ever been into an Amazon shop before?
No.
You know, one of those ones where you don't even check out.
I don't even know
where
one is.
So
I don't even know where one is.
There's one in East Croydon. And I went there, I think it was last year, when I was coming home, and I thought, let me go into this supermarket and get some bits and pieces to get on the train with. You put the things in your basket, and then I think you just bag it in your bag. And as you come through, there's some scanners that scan everything you've got in your basket. And if it's linked to your Amazon account, it debits it directly out of your Amazon account as soon as you walk out the shop. But I'm just thinking, what if your card doesn't go through? Does it beep to say you can't get through the doors, or what happens? But they are abandoning the self-service checkouts. They want humans back. They're saying it's not working, and theft has gone through the roof. Of course, people are not even scanning stuff and just putting it down by the side. They put one bag of shopping up there and one bag by the side. Of course they are. It's been a shoplifter's haven, these self-service.
Self-service. I really don't get, the fact that the self-service tills that they've got there, I don't know how they don't expect, especially like when you go into like Tesco's Express, there's no weight or nothing. So you could literally go up with your basket, pretend you're scanning something, shove it in the bag, right? And then, before you know it, you're out with a good 20 or 30 pounds of goods if you want, meats and all sorts. I don't understand how they're, not losing money. Because if you're a poor person and you haven't got the money and you want to get a meal for your family, and you just go to one of these Tesco's and think, you know what, pick it up, scan some of the stuff, pay for some, and walk out with a load of shopping. It's a thief's paradise.
It really is. And
you're putting temptation in people's way. If you're poor and you can't afford it and you want to feed your family, let's go down Tesco's, spend tenner, come out with £50 worth of goodies.
Well, the thing about it is that the statistics are saying it's not just poor people. There's a selection of middle-class people that are becoming top-heavy thieves and stealing goods. They're going to, like, the proper, I don't know what those organic supermarkets are in Kensington and so forth, and stealing from there. The theft in those places have also shot up. So we've got our middle-class sector that are also thieves as well. Not just poor people. It's not just the poor people. Now, the supermarkets are saying that the boardrooms, they've gone into the boardrooms and said, this is not working. We need to get checkouts out. Now, obviously, it was to save more money. They want more dividends paid out to their shareholders. It hasn't worked. So they're rethinking. Amazon has abandoned its self-service checkout shops in America completely now. They've gotten rid of it, or they're getting rid of it completely.
Yeah, bring back humans and give them a job.
They are bringing back the humans.
People need their work. People need work. There's youngsters coming out of school. They want work. They want jobs. Some ain't going to have a chance for a business. They want jobs. If you take all their jobs away, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah, when you go into places like Aldi, where I live, and you've got all these checkouts, and there's only 2 of them manning about 12 checkouts, but the self-serve tills, everyone's queuing up there, and every minute you've got to call an assistant because the item hasn't weighed. I'm such a goody. If it hasn't weighed, I'm like, oh, help me, this item hasn't gone through. I need to be putting bags of stuff in like the rest of the people coming out of my
Yeah.
shopping.
Well, I'll tell you
That.
what. There's been a couple of times when like I kind of got and I realized something's not gone through, and you say help, and they just come woof woof boom, and out you go. But there are some that like called a job's worth. They will search everything and they'll check everything. You know what I mean? They will do.
I'm telling you. But as I said to you about the rise of the middle class worker thefts, Marks and Spencer's warned last year that reduction of service in shops had led to a rise in the middle class shoplifters who think, well, this didn't scan, or it's very difficult to scan these things through, and I shop it all the time. It's not my fault. I'm owed it. So there's a lot going on with the middle class, not just the poor people. They are stealing. And it's clear that they're saying that replacing staff with self-scanners has been a self-inflicted disaster for shops.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, I like it when you go into like Primark, Henny's, Zara. They've got the self-serves in there. You can just go out, and the queues, I hate queuing up. I like technology. I don't think it should replace people entirely. I think we should still have a checkout. But I like the self-serves. I don't like this waiting and queuing. And the fact is, when last have you been into a shop and seen a load of people on the floor to give you help when there's a problem? There's like one person to manage the whole floor. There's nobody around in shops anymore. The whole shopping phenomenon is not an exciting thing to do anymore. For me, to go in a shop and go shopping is the worst thing that I can do, especially clothes shopping. It's horrible.
I go find them, all right. I go find them. Clothes shopping, yeah, you're right. It's hard sometimes to find somebody, but.
Now, Delight says, my mum refuses to use self-serve as she says she's putting someone out of a job. They're already out of a job, Delight. Tell your mum that. Not using it doesn't mean that they're going to get a job back. Ask your mum to thieve, though, and that might get them back again. No, let's not ask your mum to do that.
No,
I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, but I like her moral stance on it, definitely, in the fact that she doesn't want to put someone out of a job, but too late, someone is already out of a job. Not using them is not going to put someone back in a job. Definitely not. But what we need to do is make a stand and tell the shops, complain. We want humans back. Pay the money, pay the wages, stop being greedy, and sort it out. Bring back humans. Bring back humans.
So we are live. GY Radio, State of the Art Radio, Luton Urban Radio, TLC Global Media, and Rex Radio in London Town. And also live on SharkyDJ 7, Mixcloud, and HPQ's Mixcloud.
Wow, we are live and direct everywhere, right? Yeah. And just before the break, just before the music, we were talking about AI technology and self-serve tills, and that Delight's mum will not use one because she's putting someone out of a job. Roughly 80% of shops use these self-serve tills now. And like I said, in Zara, when I go into Zara and do my shopping and I don't have to line up in that long queue and I just do my self-serve, it's brilliant. I go wandering out with my stuff. But there's always a price to pay for extra convenience, right? Not inconvenience. Now, AI has come into our worlds, and has taken it by storm. And even in phones, I think Samsung is starting to do AI phones now. When I'm doing designing, they're saying give ideas for AI. I don't like them, to be quite honest with you. I don't think they're that good. But there are some apps that really do get immersive with the AI technology. Now, also what's going on with AI is students. Students are now armed with all this AI technology. Gone are the days when you used to use a word processor and type out slowly your thesis, right, or your end of year exams, and using Britannica Encyclopedia or any of those encyclopedias that we used to use to gain our knowledge, or sit in libraries. Those days are done. Now we've got computers, right, to download information off. But universities got into that and made sure that they covered plagiarism with all these kind of apps that you just have to run your work through to check that you are submitting correctly. But AI with students and exams, there's a growing number of people that are cheating, submitting using AI. Now, they always say you can detect some bits of which has been used in AI. There's always language. It's a bit like someone who's trying to write a fake email. You can spot little errors in there, like spelling mistakes, if it's too Americanized also, and yet you're in the UK. There are things like that. But AI, for me, it's absolutely superb. If I want to write a complaints letter, I put in the gist of what I want to write. My name, the details, what I want and how I want it resolved. throw it into Chat GPT, and it churns out some stuff that comes out in like the form of a well put together letter. Complaints, everything I run through Chat GPT. If I want to devise something, even through work, I need to devise this email to these senior stakeholders. And this is the context. Could you write the email for me? Done.
Do you know
like
what?
that.
I just never got my head around AI. I mean, I have tried to use it. I'm going to have to get you to show me how this thing works. Because every time I go on it, I download some app for it. It's like, ask me for money. I delete the app. But it seems like it is kind of the way forward. But I mean, it could be kind of a dangerous precedent, like for the future. I mean,
Terminator all the way, man. That's all I'm saying to you. Terminator all the way.
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking. Every time I see what's happening in the world, I think Terminator.
do you know, I was watching a movie the other day. I can't remember which one it was. And I was looking at it and I thought, is this, normally when you see it in the movies, it normally becomes a reality. And I was thinking to myself, is this the future? I'm going to try and remember what it was. But yeah, it's this thing with AI now. It's actually quite frightening. The Matrix, yes, I've watched The Matrix about 20 times. Love that movie. But The Matrix, gosh, yes, Timekeeper. That was something. But that's not the movie I was talking about. It's something that just came out recently. But Matrix, yes, you do worry about it. And, even there was something else I was watching. I can't remember which movie it was, where they were getting a virus. Yeah. And they were piling people on top of each other. And it was kind of frightening the way that the American government just thought, you know what, we just want to get rid of these people and, putting them in these little cells. And you think, is this going to become a reality? I think it was The Kingsman that I was watching.
Yeah, you love that movie too.
Yeah, I've been watching that as well. The Kingsman. It's been out a few years, but yes, quite impressed with that.
Yeah, well, AI is here to stay. It's only going to evolve even more. It's not going to go away. So you're going to have to embrace it at some point. Get with what's going on. Cheat your way through exams is what these young people are doing with AI. We didn't have all these tools. I'm so gutted they weren't around when we were going to uni. We needed some of this technology. And young people don't know young people don't know a life without technology. Imagine that you don't know a life without your mobile phone. Everything is on it. And that's why it's not always with me. I take breaks from social media and my phone, as people well know, because the like will say, HPQ don't answer her phone. Well, it's not tied to me, babe. It's not tied to me.
Yeah, I have
answer
that
my
problem
phone when
as
I
well
feel
sometimes,
like it.
trying to get hold of her, like I'm calling her for like hours and the phone is just not answering and she's just off, disappearing, If I had trust issues, I would have been like, where are you? But I don't.
You would have had no hair, not even a shadow on your head. That's what it would have been like if you had insecure problems. But listen, we've been talking about AI, lots of subjects this morning. But one thing I want to talk about this morning is, now this could affect some people, all of you or whatever, but thousands of rail fare convictions are set to be squashed. As many as 74,000 prosecutions for rail fare evasion in England and Wales are set to be squashed following a landmark ruling.
Wow.
Now, UK rail companies have been fast-tracking alleged fare evasion offences using a process called the Single Justice Procedure, SJP is the acronym, which allows magistrates' hearings to be held behind closed doors. I had one of those just the other day. But on Thursday, now this was last week, the UK's chief magistrate, Judge Goldspring, declared 6 test cases as void, which effectively means they should have never have happened. So the exact number of similar cases that will need to be squashed is unclear. Now, authorities, including the Department for Transport as well as train companies, will now have to agree a list of all people whose convictions could be overturned by the end of September.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
So they were using this single justice procedure to fine people, and now it probably wasn't legal. Now, the process of refunding fines is likely to take months. Now, firstly, the individuals will have to be identified by the courts and train companies. Then they will have to be contacted before they can be reimbursed. Now, they said that a team will begin the work of recovering the money and paid and refund monies to the individuals by November. So there's discussions ongoing with parties about how they may be paid. Now, the Department of Transport said the affected cases were prosecuted by Northern, TransPennine, Avanti West Coast people, Greater Anglia, Great Western Railway, Arriva Rail Northern, and Merseyrail. So these were mostly up north, as Sharky says. Now, it said that the list could be amended and updated by Monday, the 19th of August. That was last week. In an ongoing hearing last month, Northern Trains, the government-owned operator, and Greater Anglia had apologised for using SJPs. Now, Northern stated it welcomed the ruling, adding, "We'd like to apologise again for the errors that have occurred." So the Department of Transport said while fare evasion should be tackled, the right process should be followed at all times. How the hell did the train companies start to use the single justice procedures and get away with it?
Well, they've been found out now, and they've been dealt with, and they've been dealt a blow.
So one of the test cases that happened, there's a gentleman called Christian Waters. Okay, so he said back in 2022 he tried to buy a ticket for Leeds, but found the machine at the station was not working. There was no guard on the train, so he went to the excess fare window at his destination. He was pulled aside by revenue inspectors who handed him a penalty fare notice. He refused to pay and appealed, but that was rejected. He then received a series of letters escalating demands, adding costs. Eventually, he received a notice of the single justice procedure and he pleaded not guilty. He then complained to Northern about the process they had used. The prosecution ended up being withdrawn and they settled the matter for £3.50. So it just shows that if you fight some of these companies, sometimes you can get away with it. Don't deal with the demands that they set. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe I should do that for Croydon for that party ticket that I got. I think I'm going to appeal against that now.
Appeal against it.
Because I paid a lot of money for that.
And the thing about it is, on a lot of the railway system, there's so much jobs worth. I mean, you try to explain and they're acting as if the money is theirs. They don't realise that when they leave that job and they're gone, somebody else is going to step in their shoe and they may end up in that same position at some point in their life, because
exactly,
it's called
what
karma.
Goes around comes around.
Yes,
HPQ. Oh, you fell clean asleep. You really did.
She even posted me on Facebook sleeping, talking in my sleep. I was that tired.
You were gone clear.
But I had fun.
You did. And coming back to the subject about single justice procedures, Mary Kick says you can only use SJP when invited by the courts because there is a procedure to follow and an email address with the court. It's a different procedure to the rest of the court. You can't do it by accident. Yes. And Timekeeper said, bro, been there when sleep sweet and the body needs it. Yeah, sometimes you got to sleep. I've slept through parties before. Sometimes, you just got to miss one or two and not go. It's okay.
But you know what? Sometimes I can be a bit selfish, right? Because you think, like, if I fall asleep, you want everyone to come back and say, it was rubbish. It was crap. Yeah. It was rubbish. That's what you want people to come back and say, because you don't want to miss it. They'll come, you missed the wicked part. Oh, God, it was so good. Where were you? But, it happens sometimes.
It does. Now, coming back to some other news, because I realised the time and I've got to wrap up shortly before I go and jump into do other things. Now, this is the bane of my life, and Sharky always sticks up for the train drivers, But striking drivers to average 80,000 on a 4-day week. Train drivers could see their average basic salaries exceed 80,000 following a government brokered deal with union leaders. Now, despite this substantial increase, drivers on the East Coast Main Line have announced 22 days of strikes covering every weekend from September the 1st to November the 10th. LNER drivers are now the second highest paid in the UK, following Eurostar staff who earn an average of 87,500. Now, the Eurostar confirmed its drivers will not receive the Labour brokered increases. Avanti drivers, let's not talk about Avanti West Coast. Avanti drivers are set to become the third highest paid, with salaries expected to reach 77,000. They also enjoy perks such as free first-class travel after 5 years of service. And Avanti has agreed to pay drivers $600 a day in overtime for extra shifts, potentially boosting their annual pay by $13,000 if they work one extra day a fortnight. Let's just get that straight. They will boost their pay by $13,000. This is some people's average salaries if they work one extra day a fortnight. So the dispute between ASLEF and British Railways has been ongoing for 2 years. Drivers will now vote on a no-strings offer that included backdated pay increases of 5% from 2022 to 23, 4.7% for 2023 to 24, and a 4.5% from 2024 to 25. The Shadow Business Secretary, Sharky, said, "We always knew it was going to be this way, but I didn't think it would be as blatant. The unions have been funding the Labour Party for so long." Oh, I don't know what to say on this.
I mean, like I said, there's a long history behind a lot of this, which I'm not going to go into because I've explained it a lot, because I do know the history behind why drivers get so much money. But I can understand people being upset at the fact that, these guys are getting the money and, if they don't, they strike. What the government do need to keep happening is they need the transport moving without disruption. And unfortunately, when you have that amount of power to hold a country at ransom, they've got to do something about it. So it's either that or you don't get into work, which affects the country even more. I know some people say they don't deserve it, but like I said, I understand. But these guys will get up early in the morning, very, very early in the morning. Some of them have to travel. They finish late at night. Yes, I know, but it's one of those industry where they do have a form of power. And like I said, I am not, I don't agree with everything that the unions do, but unfortunately they do have that kind of power. So what do? It's either they shut the rail down and you don't go to work, you don't get in, it disrupts the whole country, it disrupts the economy. What do you do? What is your solution? And what would you do if you was a politician in this position and you needed to deal with these ruthless union people? What would you suggest?
That's a hard one.
Exactly. And this is what people need to understand.
But paying them more money is not the way forward, because we've got our nurses. Okay, our nurses and doctors strike, and they're not brokered deals such as that, and they provide a more essential role in the country than train drivers. Train drivers get people to work, but you've got people on the ground that actually do the work. And when you look at some of these train drivers, they are middle-aged, older guys that have been in these jobs for years.
There's a lot of young train drivers, many young. They're taking on a lot of young staff now, a lot of the middle-aged ones.
And I think what they're doing, and this is probably a good thing, is that they're taking younger people on. They're probably shifting the types of contracts that they get, most definitely, and the longer you've been in service, the more money you're due to get. So they've got to get rid of the ones that have been in long service, but the ones that are in long service are the ones that have all the experience of train drivers on the line, which is why there will be a move to driverless trains. These conductors and their unscrupulous tactics of holding us to account just means that governments will push forward on technology. Does it cost more to produce driverless trains than it is to pay all these train drivers £80,000 a year?
Unfortunately, the driverless thing, as what people, because, like I said, this is an industry that I've been in for many years, so I do know all about it. Being in my previous job as a trainer, experience in trains, you need somebody on the trains. When those trains break down, these are the guys that have to fix it, they have to put it right. Somebody has to be on that train, and they have to be trained what to do to get the train and the passengers to the station. So driverless trains doesn't mean that you don't have somebody on it responsible for the train. You always have to have somebody responsible, because if that breaks down and there's no one on that train, could you imagine what the customers are going to say? So,
Yeah.
the reality of it, I mean, like I said, I know the background and I know the reality of it. And yes, nurses deserve, a big pay rise. They deserve big pay, but we're talking about drivers here. We're talking about the power that they have over the country. It's not just in London, right over transport. Anybody that's got transport, yeah, they can't do like what they did with the buses. With the buses, they split them up. They had private bus companies, and they were able to just get new drivers in, and a couple of weeks of training, out there they go. With train drivers, they need a certain amount of training. They have to go out with instructors. They have to be passed by trainers, and obviously they have to be monitored every year. So there's a lot that goes on in the background, and they just have that power. So I say, people, we just have to accept it.
Miscellaneous says union power. Yeah, very strong union power there with the train drivers. They are holding the country to account, and it's really sad to hear that. I mean, they haven't had a pay rise in 5 years. From what I'm reading, quite rightly so. Not many other people have. So don't think that you're exceptional to anybody else. But it's the fact that it's the entitlement, I think. You're earning so much money, but you still want to earn more. And the overtime, look at that, £600 a day overtime. You
Well,
don't
it's
even need
either
to earn.
that.
They don't even need to earn more money. They can just do overtime, and they work a 4-day week.
It
Seriously.
doesn't work just like that. With train operators and the companies, they need to keep trains running. If they don't do the overtime, trains get cancelled. And you know what happens when trains get cancelled. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because they're paying them so much money they can't afford to have a full complement of staff that they pay, and so they rely on the train drivers that they've got to pay to make them work overtime to keep the country running. 1 second, and I know about this because of the fact of when World Cup was on, when England were playing, most of the trains weren't running because they could not get drivers to do any overtime. All it was that they couldn't get them to do overtime, let alone the ones that were running the trains.
They can get the ones that are not interested. But like I said, the thing with the train drivers is that they've got the power to hold the government to keep them up with the cost of living, whereas other industries don't have that power to keep the government up with the cost of living. So the government can take the mickey out of the nurses and other people like the bus. And they say, look, if you don't want your job, we can find somebody else that will do it. We'll bring in immigrants. We'll do this. You can't do that with the trains, unfortunately. Just like with airplanes, you've got pilots. If they decide to go on strike and they said, we're not striking, nothing flies. If the controllers go on strike, nothing goes in the air. They've got a special skill. You can't just get any and anybody in to do that job. Yeah.
Oh, I reckon
and
they
train
can.
transport, no, you can't. But I wouldn't want to be up in the air with somebody who don't know what they're doing down on the ground. No, we want to get down safe. And there's certain jobs that have that power. So I don't complain because I know what it's like, and I know, And to be honest with you, had it been like the old system, the way that that it was before, drivers would be on more money. But anyway, enough of that. HPQ.
Listen, HPQ, it's 9:53. It's time for me to come off. I've had a ball today. I'm so sorry I came on late today. Like I said, I take these allergy tablets and they knock me out like I'm drinking 10 bottles of wine. I felt very flaky this morning. It took me a long time before I actually took one of those tablets last night because I said it's going to affect me in the morning, and it certainly does. But I've had a great show today. I will see you guys not next week. Don't forget, there's no Breakfast Flight show at all next week, Monday or Tuesday, so don't try and log on.
Carnival weekend.
Yeah, it's Carnival weekend, but we will be back the week after. And I'll be giving you news on the Black History Month charity drive, which is going to be the 18th and 19th of October. Flyer will be out shortly. Over 28 DJs again going to be playing for 48 hours. Lots of fun, lots of stuff. I will see you week after next.
And before you go, I'm not sure if you have to shoot off, if you do have to shoot off.
I do.
Money that we did raise went to two charities.
Oh, it did, but we're going to advertise that. Don't worry.
Okay,
I'm waiting
then.
for them to come back with the video, so that's why I haven't said anything. So
Okay,
don't worry.
excellent.
We're going to come back with that soon. All right, my darling. Gotta go,
Bye.
everybody. Take care. Join the Breakfast Flight Show every Monday and Tuesday with SharkyDJ and HPQ with the alternative news on GY Radio.